Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing a review of a comedy slash action film from Sweden, Swedish language English subs, released in the year 2006, directed by Rafael Edholm, and this movie is called Baba's Villa, and the English title is Baba's Cars. So Baba's Cars takes place in a very remote, icy part of Sweden, and it revolves around three characters: Baba, who owns a shop, Yo-Yo, and his girlfriend Anso. Now Yo-Yo is very lazy, he takes a relationship for granted, and one day Anso gets fed up with it, and she says either commit to our relationship, grow up, get a job, otherwise I'm gone. So this wakes Yo-Yo up, and he gets a job with Baba in order to impress his girlfriend. Now Baba takes him on and says that his first course of duty is to go to this garage and pick up this car for him from a Russian woman. Now little do they know, this Russian woman doesn't actually own the car, it actually belongs to her husband, who is a Russian crime boss. Now this Russian crime boss has been beating her up regularly, so she wants to sell the car without him knowing in order to get the money and to flee the country. So Yo-Yo is completely oblivious to this. He gives the money and he takes the car. Little does he realize the car holds some contents that are hidden that belong to the crime boss and that the crime boss really wants. So Yo-Yo takes the car back to Baba. Baba sells the car to a Norwegian and the car is gone. Now the crime boss has found out about this and he is furious. So he comes down to the town, he beats Baba up and he says, get my car back, otherwise some really bad things are going to happen. So the rest of the film basically takes place where these people are trying to get the car back, trying to get the contents back in order to save themselves, and whether or not they achieve this goal, that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on the film. This one was interesting because it had its positives, but unfortunately the negatives weighed it down. Now the biggest negative I have of the film is that it wants to be a Anders Thomas Jensen film. For those of you who don't know who Anders Thomas Jensen is, I feel that he is the best filmmaker as far as dark humor is concerned. He is from Denmark and he has directed some absolute classics. And what I love about Anders Thomas Jensen is that his movies, the environments and the circumstances and the situations are so exaggerated that it kind of floats up into a surrealistic world. But when it's floating up into the world, it never really lets itself go because the reality in the characters firmly grounds it. It kind of anchors it. And so although it does go onto the brink of a surreal world, it's firmly grasped in reality because of the characters. They're very real. And yes, the environment and the circumstances on the outside aren't so real. The characters inside you can connect with. Therefore, it gives the movie so much more. It feels like you're yet watching a comedy, but at the same time, you're watching a movie that is really heartwarming and very real. And it kind of has a certain charm to it that is very subtle, but it's apparent through every one of his films. So it's kind of like seeing the good in people, no matter how exaggerated the circumstances are. So that is why I love Anders Thomas Jensen so much. And this is why the film kind of fails, because the director, Rafael Edholm, he tries, in my view, to be another Anders Thomas Jensen, and he just can't do that. And what he forgets to do is put the development in the characters. So, yes, the environment goes exaggerated and it floats away, but there is nothing to anchor that environment down. So when the environment floats away, so do the characters. And when it becomes so exaggerated, in the core, there's absolutely nothing. And it just feels like there's a massive void there, and it's kind of completely lacking in any emotion. Therefore, on face value, yes, it is a very funny film, and there are some scenes that are going to make you laugh. But because it's all face value, you don't get any depth. So you've got bang, a really funny scene, you laugh. Then bang, another funny scene. Then bang, another funny, and then so on and so on and so on. Then after a while, you kind of forget why you laughed previous, because it just doesn't have that lasting impression, because the characters aren't likable, because they haven't had enough time to really shine. So that's partly down to the runtime. I don't know if it was budget constraints, but it kind of felt rushed in the fact that it wanted to get to the funny moments before really wanting to get into some psychology, which for a film like this, it doesn't require it. But I felt that it would have been so much more, and you could kind of feel that it was trying to be something that it just couldn't quite grasp. The main point of the film, I thought, centered on the wrong people. The relationship was the centerpiece between two people that you just didn't care for, because the script didn't allow it to really get to depth, didn't really allow it to get any humanity into it. So the relationship between Yo-Yo and Anso felt very empty. The chemistry wasn't there, and it felt like they were acting it. It didn't feel like they genuinely loved each other. So when the bad things happen, you don't care if Yo-Yo got killed. You don't care if Anso got killed. And as I said, it's an exaggerated film, and it doesn't need that. But Anders Thomas Jensen proves that you can have entertainment and you can also have heartfelt. And, you know, it's got so many layers in an Anders Thomas Jensen film, but unfortunately this film has no layers whatsoever. Cinematography, beautiful looking film. It's a very icy, sort of snowy environment, which gives a very claustrophobic feel, which makes you feel like there is no hope for these people, that they're all kind of half-wits, and they're all painted in a way that it just feels like they've got no hope, and it's kind of like this is their universe and they're not going anywhere. So I really like the fact that it was located in a very isolated environment. The stereotypes in the film are going to offend a lot of people, but if you've got a sense of humour and you don't mind laughing at yourself, I actually felt that the generalizations, the stereotypes were very well done and typical of what you would actually think of certain areas. Now, I'm not saying this is what I think, but you've seen it in other movies, and you'll see it in this. And although it's not original, you know, you've got the Russians as the bad guys, you've got the Finnish as the stupid, you've got the Swedish as ignorant and cold, Norwegians as arrogant, and the Arabic as untrustworthy, sort of terrorists. So these stereotypes have been done before, but I thought it was a funny sort of inclusion into the film, and it gave it just a little bit more as far as funniness is concerned. So, you know, the Finnish people would have been my favourite characters, along with Baba. And the problem with having the main focus on the relationship is that it takes the gloss away from the characters that really matter. So when you really want to see Baba on screen, it cuts to the relationship, and more time is put on that relationship. And because you don't care about them, it kind of feels like a distraction rather than a progression. And you're just waiting for the half-witted sort of Finnish people and the evil Russians and the cold, the arrogant Norwegian, who they all steal the show, but unfortunately the main focus is on the people who were the least appealing. And that, for me, it took it out for me, and I felt that it was more frustrating than it was rewarding. So all in all, you know, it is not a bad film. As far as face value, you know, what you see is concerned, you're going to get a lot out of it. I would say definitely get it. Is this a film that is going to really make you think? No, it's not. Is it a movie that is going to warrant more than one view? I don't think so. Is it the worst movie ever made? Absolutely not. But yeah, from the potential that it actually had, I couldn't help but feel just a little bit disappointed in the end result. So overall, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. It is a movie I would recommend, but due to the fact that it's got the depth of a puddle, it harmed the film, and it just prevented it from being a very good one. But having said that, you could do a lot worse. So for the Swedish action/comedy, Barber's Cars, I'm giving it 2.5 stars. So that's my review for this evening. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, take care of yourselves, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.